Have you ever had one of those nights that just changes everything? For one young artist back in 1989, a single night in Washington, D.C. did exactly that. It completely shattered his view of the city and revealed a hidden world that would end up inspiring the most important song of his career. This is the story of how it all went down. So think about Washington, D.C. for a second. On one hand, you have the city you see on TV, right? The district of sound bites. It's all polished monuments and political power plays. But just under the surface, there was another city, the district of barrel fires, a place of raw, gritty survival. And this whole story is about the night one person crossed the invisible line between those two worlds. All right, to really get this, we've got to go back. The year is 1989. There's massive change happening around the globe, but also a huge crisis happening locally in D.C., and we're going to see it all through the eyes of one college kid. I mean, look at the contrast here. Globally, the Berlin Wall is literally falling down, but in D.C., the city is earning the horrific nickname murder capital of the nation. And where's our guy Stu in all this? He's in the suburbs, a world away, refilling tortilla chips at a Chi-Chi's. Talk about a disconnect.
This was the reality for so many people back then. It's this split-screen existence. You're living in the safe, quiet suburbs, but you're in the orbit of a city that's in total turmoil. You can kind of hear the sirens in the distance, but you're protected by this bubble. It's close, but it's not your world.
So how does a kid from the suburbs end up with a front row seat to the city's hidden reality? Well, it all starts with two pretty unlikely mentors and one fateful midnight ride. Now, these guys, Wayne and Regis, they weren't college professors. They were older coworkers, line cooks who just saw the world with zero filters. For them, politics wasn't some theory you debate in a seminar. No, it was about day-to-day survival. They knew the city's hidden truths, the stuff that never made it onto the evening news. And all it took was one simple invitation after a shift. Hop in the car. With those 3 words, the night went from being a routine drive home to a deep dive into the unknown. So they leave the manicured lawns of the suburbs behind and head straight into a part of the city where the official story, the one you hear from politicians, just completely melts away. This is about to be the view from the alley. The original story puts it perfectly. It says the night slid sideways. It wasn't some sudden, dramatic event. It was more like this slow, disorienting drift into a version of DC that you will not find on any tourist map. And right at the center of this whole divide was one person, Mayor Marion Barry. If you were in the suburbs, he was a punchline, a symbol of everything that was wrong with the city. But in huge parts of the city itself, he was a savior, a symbol of empowerment. He was the living, breathing embodiment of DC's two faces. So they keep driving deeper into the city, right past all the bars and clubs. This wasn't a joyride. You could feel they were going somewhere specific. The destination itself was supposed to be the lesson. So the question is, where in the world were they headed? Their destination? An alley. Just an alley, where a group of men were gathered around a barrel fire to stay warm. And what Stu heard there was this radical redefinition of what freedom could mean. A life with no bills, no landlords, just a hard, stripped-down logic of survival. It was a brutal lesson, but a powerful one. A night like that, it doesn't just fade away. You can't unsee it. That experience was so intense, it had to be channeled into something creative, something lasting. And from that night, an anthem was born. So let's just trace the creation here. Step 1, the catalyst, that late-night drive. Step 2, the observation, seeing that hidden world by the fire. Step 3, the big realization about the city's split personality. And finally, you distill all of that, the weight, the feeling, the images, into a melody and lyrics. And that's how the song, The District, came to be. But here's the thing. It wasn't a protest song. It wasn't a call to action or some grand political statement. It was something way more personal. It was like a postcard sent from a world he was never supposed to have seen. Just a snapshot of one single moment. So why does a song from way back in 1989 still hit so hard for people today? Well, it's because the fire that it describes is, well, it's still burning. Decades have passed, and it's still one of the most requested songs. As the archivist Flash says here, it's crazy. It's like nothing changed.
That tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? The raw nerve that song touched all those years ago is still very much exposed.
And that's really the big takeaway here. The politicians, the names, the dates, that stuff might change. But that fundamental struggle for dignity, for a meaningful life, that fire in the alley still burns brightly. Every city has its two faces. There's the one you see on the postcards, and then there's the one that lives in the shadows. So, I'll leave you with this question. What are the two faces of your city? And which one do you see every day?